outside the locker room, right? Okay.
All right, I want to thank everybody for attending the 70th annual TaxSlayer Bowl this year. We've got Coach Kirk Ferentz in here. Want to make note that after Coach's comments and interviews, the players will be available outside the locker room right after this. So anyway, Coach, your thoughts on the game, and then we will open up for questions. When you are given the mic to ask a question, please state where you're from so that we can record everything.
I'll start by congratulating Tennessee. They played an excellent football game. They were ready right from the start, and we certainly couldn't match their tempo in that first half. So give them credit. They played a really good football game. I'd venture to say probably the best they've played this year. It's a credit to them. So, for us, it's disappointing. A lot of things that showed up cost us today. And, the bottom line is that we got a great group of young guys and 16 seniors that just finished up. So I feel bad for every guy in the locker room, obviously, especially our seniors. But, it's part of football, and we'll get up tomorrow and move forward.
Questions?
What about Coach Bob Brooks?
Yep.
Start. What about the start, the first quarter? Were you kind of subdued?
Yeah, I don't know if we were subdued, but we just didn't play in a way that was going to give us a chance to stop them. They really did a good job of getting out on the perimeter. We didn't do a good job of forcing the ball back inside. That was a major issue, certainly. And then offensively, we really didn't get much going early.
Chad Leistico, Des Moines Register over here to your left.
Okay. Okay, I get you.
What was the plan now that's over with the quarterbacks? How did you evaluate it during the game, and what did you think of Rudock and Beathard?
Yeah, I think our plan was to play both of them, as we said consistently, the last 7 days or whatever it would have been. So, I think they both did some good things. They both had some down plays too. That's part of it, and really the way the game got early, it's it's tough to evaluate anything in a real great fashion. But we'll go back and look at it and go from there.
Coach, Rick Brown, Des Moines Register.
Okay, see you. Yep.
Yeah. All this talk all week was about quarterbacks, but as it turned out, maybe people should have been a little more concerned about the defensive side of things.
Well, yeah, the way it turned out, for sure. And, they scored whatever it was, I don't know how many straight possessions, 4 straight possessions. So, and our kicking game didn't help out in that regard. And then certainly moving the ball, changing field position when you get an opportunity. So, it was a team loss. Usually it is when you lose. And, we fell down, what was it, 35, 28 points right away. You dig quite a hole, especially against a good football team.
Coach, Mark Blumenthal, Palatka Daily News in Florida. Evaluate where you are and with this program. You've been there for 16 years. You're going into next year. Where does the program stand?
Well, we're 7-6. This is 2014. I know it's a 15 now. I know I didn't miss New Year's, but we're 7-6. We've been 7-6 before. We've been 4-8. We've been 11-1, 11-2. So, that's where we're at. Your record is what you say it is, or you are what your record says you are, according to Bill Parcells. Pretty accurate description, and we're a team that came up short this year in several games.
Coach, here in the middle, Jeff Elliott, the Florida Times Union. On your second possession, there's a change of downs on 4th down. Did you consider asking for a measurement, because they never moved the sticks when they went the other way?
Yeah, I was standing right there. I mean, it was pretty obvious that it was not we didn't make it. Based on the spot that I saw, it wasn't that close. 8-10 inches, something like that. But it was obvious from the sideline.
Michael Oss, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Kirk, you talked about tomorrow you got to move forward. What does this mean this year, this off season? What do you have to do to have a season that's substantially more satisfying than this?
It wasn't satisfying. We lost 4 close games, and clearly today we were behind pretty quickly, and we were behind up in Minnesota as well. But the other 4 games, if we're going to be successful, we got to do well in close ball games. And first thing you have to do is make them close, and we've done a pretty good job of that historically. But it's usually a fine line, and I don't care if you look at I'll go back to 2002, 2004, most recently 2009, where we're ranked in the top 10. It's usually a pretty fine line for us, and when we win 7 or 8 games, it's a fine line, and the 4 and 8 not so much. But so it's a year-to-year battle. Every team's different, and teams change week to week. But it's about what's in front of you and doing the best you can.
Coach, Joe Rachel, KRUI.
Okay. Gotcha.
Can you talk a little bit about Ken Zeri's day-to-day? You guys seem to rely heavily on him, but it seemed like he had a nice day.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. As the best he's performed all season long. Made the statement, it really hasn't been right pretty much this whole season going back to August. And the best he's looked was this past month, which is really good. So, that's certainly it was a positive today that he ran as well as he did. We've got to keep him healthy and keep moving him forward. The big positive to mention is Cavante Martin Manley setting a receiving record. And that's, when you talk about what he did there, Sheriff winning the Outland Trophy, being a unanimous consensus All-American. When you win 7 games, those things kind of fall by the wayside a little bit. But, you look at the individual stories, we've got a lot of good ones. And the 16 seniors that we have, really proud of each and every one of those guys. And it just so happens those 2 did something really significant football-wise, but they're outstanding guys. It's tough to say goodbye to those guys in the locker room.
Coach, over here on this side, Vince Ferrara from Sports Radio WNML in Knoxville. Talk about having to defense Joshua Dobbs, and was he even better in person than maybe what he looked like on tape?
Yeah, not even close, and I don't want to speak for Coach Jones, but to me, it was the best execution that we saw from their football team all season long. And when he went in those last 4 ball games, in my mind at least, it made a significant difference. South Carolina game where they pulled out minute and a half down 14. And he's right in the middle of that with his passing yards, running yardage, and he looked good on film. I'm not saying anything about what he looked like on film, but he certainly played an excellent football game today. And you read about him, and I got to see him at the banquet. He's an extremely impressive young man on top of it. Great student, and just seems like a very humble young guy. So it's really impressive. He played an excellent football game today.
Kirk, Mark Morehouse, Cedar Rapids Gazette. I'm over here on the left.
Okay, I'm with you.
Are you aware of the temperature outside of the program, and how do you react to that?
Single digits in Iowa this week. I heard about that. You want to be more specific? I'm serious.
People calling for you to being fired, emptying the roster, hating everybody, that kind of temperature.
Yeah, we had a coach to the west of us that's won a lot of football games that got fired. So that's, if you're in this profession, that's part of the deal. And, if I'm to sit around listening to, the temperature, reading the temperature on the outside, really I think what I need to do is probably just take the energy that I can put towards the job and put it on our improvement. And that's typically what we've tried to do for 16 years. Did that answer the question? Okay.
Coach, up here, Rick Coleman, KWWL. How difficult was the environment today? I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of energy going.
Yeah, it was a home game for Tennessee, but that happens a lot of times when Big Ten teams come south, and they got a really excited fan base. They got a good football team, and it made it tougher. But we play on the road and play in tough stadiums, so you got to play through that. And really, it was about the play on the field. They just outplayed us in every phase.
Kirk, Dustin DePirac, Knoxville News Sentinel. You said their execution was better than you've seen. I guess what specifically was better than what you'd seen on tape, and also how it seemed like the double pass just really kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought you could kind of see that one developing when the ball went backward. You hope usually you're going to see some good gadgets or gimmicks in a bowl game, but unfortunately we didn't see it where it counted. And but the bottom line is, I thought they blocked well. They executed well offensively, threw the ball and caught the ball. The one touchdown in the end zone to my right, far across the field. Our guy defended that thing pretty well. Wasn't like he got fooled on it, but it was just a great throw and good play by the receiver. So it was pretty much, I don't want to say flawless execution, but looked really good from what I could tell. And they played well in defense, too. I mean, in the first half, they played very well in defense.
Coach, Rick Brown again. Mm-hmm. You talked at length about the Nebraska game, the opportunities left on the field, and kind of the feeling of the hangover. Do you feel like the team bounced back from that? Did you sense that they were ready to go, or did you?
Yeah, you would never know it based on what you saw at 3:25, but that's about as good a month as we've had since I've been here 16 years. And for whatever reason, it did not show today. That was obvious, but I'm also confident that it's going to show in time. And I thought we improved on a lot of different levels, older guys, younger guys. So, that's all we can worry about is doing our best each and every day and trying to push forward. This team, like I said, they practiced and prepared as well as any team I've been around. But we weren't good enough today. But I don't think it's all going to go down the drain. I believe that, and that's kind of how I live. And have for a long time. That's how I look at the world.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And then we'll take questions.
Well, first of all, exceptionally proud of everyone in our football organization and our football family. And that starts with our players. And their preparation, the entire bowl practice sessions were outstanding. We had focus. Everyone talked about being a young football team and a first of many things. And we were focused from the get-go. When we arrived in Jacksonville, our football team was focused. And I put it on the leadership of our football team, starting with Kirk to my left and Josh to the right. And they showed me something. And New Year's Eve, 11 o'clock, they were in bed. And we came here for a purpose. And the purpose was to win the bowl game. And just very, very proud of them. We wanted to start fast. We thought that was critical in this game, and we did start fast. I believe we only had 3 third downs in the entire first half, and when we're moving on offense, we're generating first downs on first and second down. So our run efficiency on first down was very, very good. I thought Josh managed the offense, and then defensively, we did a great job. I thought the 4th and 1 stop was critical to continue to maintain momentum. And some big splash plays, getting off the field on 3rd down defensively. We had some missed tackles, but I think for the most part, if you look at the bowl trends, there's been a lot of missed tackles, and I thought our players did a very good job. I thought our coaches had a great game plans and moving forward. Special teams, the return game, really helped us in terms of our coverage team. So again, just proud of the resiliency of this football team, and I still think it's the greatest story in all of college football. When you look at the youth of this football team coupled with the most difficult schedule, an article came out a couple days ago that we've had the most difficult schedule in a 2-span in the history of college football, and we knew that our resiliency and our perseverance would be challenged this year, and it's a tribute to everyone in our football family of staying together, focusing on the process, and they were rewarded tonight.
Butch over here, Gene Ferentz from the Florida Times-Union. Over here, Coach, given the plan that you had when you took the job, are you about where you thought you'd be with this program or further along with this group?
Well, we still have a long way to go. But I tell you what, I said this is the most challenging year I've ever had in coaching, but the most rewarding year in coaching. And we have great character in our football program. And again, it starts with Kurt, it starts with Josh. Here's a football team that just finished the most successful academic semester in the history of University of Tennessee with a 2.77 team GPA this past semester. So not only are we starting to win on the field, we're starting to win off the field as well. And that's a byproduct of the character that we have. They've shown great competitive grit. We still, though, have a long way to go. But we're making progress. And we talked about building this program brick by brick, and we put another brick into the foundation today. And the main thing of anything, of setting a culture in place, is learning how to win. And not just hoping to win, believing you're going to win, and also deserving to win. And these players, these kids, have been very deserving to win. They've been consistent in their approach all year. Never too high, never too low. We talk about consistency and performance every day in our football program, and they've done everything and more so than we've asked of them.
So are you further along with that?
I would say we're still under construction.
Rick Russo, WVLT TV, Knoxville. Coach, what kind of a lift was it for your team seeing all that orange in the stadium? And describe the scene afterwards when the game was over.
Well, it started at the Vol Walk. And, our fans have been so supportive all year. We say we have the best fans in the country, and that was a great illustration with this bowl game. And it's actually started at the hotel. The energy, I'll tell you, it started back in Knoxville. And when we went to Gatlinburg, and our kids can see it. And it's special to play football at the University of Tennessee. but it also comes with a very high standard and a very high price. But we filled the stadium in orange, and it started in the Vol Walk, and it means everything to our football program.
Matt Slav in Tennessee. And Butch, how do you assess the job that Derek did on Sheriff? No sacks, but it still seemed like he did more than hold his own.
Well, he did, and he's a great, great player, and I know Derek accepted the challenge, and he's one of those individuals. On New Year's Eve, we went to do the bed check, and we couldn't find him, and then we found him. He was sound asleep at 10 o'clock at night, and he does anything and everything to try to get an edge. And, there's so much sacks are hard to come by, but pressuring the quarterback, impacting the quarterback can be just as big as a sack. And, obviously Kurt and Derek feed off of each other, but also we got some push inside. But very, very proud of Derek. He's been injured the last couple games, but he's extremely tough, and I've said it and I'll continue to say it. He's mature beyond years. Love him. Love everything about him.
Josh, Patrick Brown with the Chattanooga Times Free Press over here. Josh, out there, I guess when you accept the MVP trophy, you said this was just a start. Could you maybe expound on what you meant by that and kind of where this program is heading?
Coming into the season, our goal obviously was to make it to a bowl game, and when we got there, to win it, as we did today. So this is a start of the foundation for something big that's going on at Tennessee. It's momentum that we can carry into the offseason and to have a winning season also as well. So it's the start of something big, a lot of momentum going into offseason to get ready for next year.
And just to piggyback, we also finished. Everything in our program is about finishing, and we talked about each team has its own life expectancy, and we knew we only had today to live. And 118, Team 118 is over with, and so we needed to finish. And very proud of our seniors. They can have a say in building Tennessee football back, and these memories tonight will serve them for a lifetime.
Kurt, Michael Spencer from WAT TV in Knoxville. We've talked so many times after games this season about how you guys needed to continue to stay the course. Was this validation of all the ups and downs you guys have had?
Yeah, definitely. When you just said that, I thought about what happened in the team meeting today. I just talked to the guys and told them it's been a roller coaster of a season. A lot of injuries, a lot of adversity came about. But I think that brought us a lot closer together, and our youth stepped up and matured a lot. And I'm grateful for my teammates, and I'm just happy the way we played and the way we focused on each play at a time. And came in at halftime, said that's not good enough. Defense, we just gave up a big drive, so we need to get back together and play our game. So I think our team has matured a lot.
Coach, Mark Blumenthal, Palaca Daily News in Florida. Talk about the touchdown, the trick play and the touchdown. What was the genesis of that whole thing? Was it something that was like in the back of your mind, or was it something that was already planned for that game? What happened with that?
Well, we always have a catalog or an inventory of trick plays that we rep throughout the course of the year, and we definitely wanted to run that play, and had to be on a certain hash. And Mike Bajakian did a great job. He kept saying, "We get the ball in this left hash, we're going to run it." And it's one thing to call the play; it's another to execute it. And Marlon Lane did a great job. Josh got the ball out there. Vic Wharton did a great job of the stalk and go, and then finished the play. But really, the unsung hero. They brought a blitz off the edge, and senior Brendan Downs made that play. And Brendan may not show up in the stat sheets with a catch, but he was directly responsible for that touchdown. And those are the things, you don't do what we've been able to do this year if you don't have great character. We have a great family environment. Our players love each other. That's the other thing that was great for me to see this bowl trip. Is this football team has never been together in December and into January. And to see them come together and build that brotherhood, but also the accountability to each other to get their bodies, to get their minds ready to play. A lot of times in sport nowadays, we live in a sports center society. Everybody sees the highlights, but they do not see the behind-the-scenes things. They don't see Kurt Majid in the training room at 6 a.m. working with Jason McVay for 2 hours. They don't see all the little things that add up to the big things. And so, again, you don't do things by chance. You earn everything you get, and this football team earned the night.
Coach,
Buddy Pearson with the Herald Citizen Cookeville. Was the game plan on offense to attack the edges because of their physicality up front? Because it seemed like you ran a lot of sweeps and really attacked the edges, I guess.
Well, that's basically been a part of our offense, but we wanted to get the hands really in the ball in the hands of our playmakers, and our wide receiver core has been decimated with injuries, but we wanted to make a point to get the ball in the hands of Alton Howard and Von Pearson, and sometimes, Josh has options on plays, not just pass plays, but run plays where he can either deal the ball and hand it off or run the play. And I thought Josh did a great job of really managing the offense all game long. So some of those speed sweeps were him reading it, and others were pre-called. But yeah, we wanted to take advantage and get the ball out on the edges and put the ball in the hands of our playmakers.
Rob Lewis, VolQuest.com. Coach, can you just talk about the impact of all the extra practices on the defensive line in particular? You look out there today and you see some young guys getting a lot of work and more than holding their own, it looked like.
Well, repetitions are the key to everything. So to be able to get some young players like Demarie Mixon, Michael Sawyers, get these individuals reps, Kendall Vickers, were very critical in moving forward. And we have a standard and the expectation, by the way, we're going to play defense at Tennessee. So every time you can get those extra reps are critical, but also not just on the practice field, but in the strength and conditioning room as well, is we've had to play so many freshmen that a lot of times your strength gets set back because we don't call it a maintenance program during the season. We still expect everyone to make great gains, but you are on a different regiment, a different routine if you're redshirted as opposed to playing. So it's also a chance for those individuals to go in and really kind of restart the strength and conditioning program as well.
For Coach and Josh, you guys said Ben Frederickson, Knoxville News Sentinel. You said you wanted to strike early. A lot of times that was with Jalen running the ball. He had a couple big runs. I guess you said he was getting healthier heading into this game. Did you see that in him? And just what was your impression of his performance, especially early?
Jalen's an individual who takes great pride in his performance, and he had that look in his eye, as did our entire football team. But Jalen really set the temperament of the game for us, getting yards after contact, finishing runs, and he just had that look in his eye of give me the ball, coach. And he earned every yard that he got today. I'm very proud of him, but he's a young man who's extremely competitive, and I'll let Josh talk more about Jalen.
Oh, yeah, Jalen did a great job of being elusive in space, of running hard, running behind his pads, and making guys mix. So it's always great to have Jalen in the backfield. And not only him, but all the running backs did a good job today of moving the ball, running behind their pads, and hitting holes hard. So it was great to see that production from the running back position.
Butch, over here. Great Raymond Daily Times. Is that, to follow up on that, is that the best football you've seen Hurd play this year?
Well, I will tell you this. Jalen's one of those individuals who's continued to get better and better and better. So I just think it's up to his standard and his, and what we expect from him. Now this becomes a big off season. These individuals compete. I walk in the locker room a couple of weeks ago and they already have a chart. And there's a contest between Ethan Wolf and Jalen Hurd and a number of guys about their off-season lifting totals and what they're going to do. And these kids compete in everything that they do. But Jalen is one of those individuals whose game continues to elevate week in and week out.
Butch, Dustin DePierac, Knoxville News Sentinel. As Josh mentioned, you guys kind of made it clear from the beginning that you wanted to get to a bowl game and win it this season. I guess, does the 2015 team have a sort of similar specific goal, sort of a wins and losses type concrete thing, or is it less, I guess, specific?
We always have one goal and one constant goal in our program when it comes to our performance, and it's to be a better football team each and every day. Each individual taking accountability for their own self-determination, and if you improve individually, you improve collectively as a football team. So we already have the off-season mapped out. We just have to continue to get better. We have to develop depth. We have to get stronger. We have to continue to recruit. But if you're a prospective student athlete, you want to be part of something special, you come to the University of Tennessee, point blank. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just want these kids to enjoy the next couple weeks. And I think it's very important. They've been through a grind. And they had, 3 or 4 days off to go home, see their families. And like I said, the investment that they put in this game and the leadership that was shown to make sure the sports science end of things, taking care of your bodies, not being out till 1, 2 in the morning, being responsible to each other. And we talked about one thing to be a participant in the bowl game, but to go there to win the bowl game. And they were focused all week. So I'm going to put all that, but there's a plan in place. And it starts obviously with depth and getting stronger as a football team. But these practices really, really helped us. Also, the standard, the expectation, we've learned how to win. Our players expect to win now every time they step on the football field. And to me, a culture in anything that you do, that's the starting process for anything.
Josh and Kirk, could you describe the emotions when you rolled in of seeing all the fans at the Vol Walk, and Butch, for you, you've always said when it hits, you'll know it hit. To the Tennessee fans who think it hit, has it hit?
Well, to see our fans and their turnout was amazing. Especially walking to the stadium, just seeing all the thousands of fans that were here to support us in Jacksonville, far from Knoxville, and then coming out for warm-ups and seeing most of the stadium orange was also great. So it definitely felt like a home game for us, and we're very thankful for our great fan support.
Yeah, when we pulled up, it was just crazy. I honestly believe we had the best fan base throughout college football and even pros. My opinion, they travel in a collective group, and like I said, when we pulled up, we actually had to pass a lot of the fans get into the Vol because it was so many, as the line was so long. But just to see everyone come out and support, and to see 80% of the stadium orange and cheering the whole game and staying throughout, I'm grateful for them, and we appreciate them dearly.
You know, when we win together, and when we lose together. We bleed together. And, I'll never forget in our early stage of being here, we lost a game, and I got a text message from Peyton Manning that says, "I bleed with you." And first person to text Peyton Manning. And, having Eric Berry back last night in the hotel, and the pride of our former players, having Zach Fulton, Juwan James on our sideline. It's a pride of who we are. And our fan base has been outstanding. They've been loyal. They've been nothing but tremendous to me, my family, to this football team ever since our arrival. And that's what it's all about. And they were a great they provided some advantage for us today in terms of even crowd noise and just energy and excitement, and they've been that way all year, and I love our fans, and they should enjoy this because we win together.
Did it hit? Has it hit?
Not yet.
One more.